While military action is extremely important, we also want to focus on what is it that makes a jihadist? Why are we having a full-blown jihadist insurgency in Europe now? As we've seen in the profiles of these attackers, some of them are from France, they're from Belgium, they subscribe to the culture of the European countries, they speak European languages, and they are young, angry Muslim men. And so the long-term work that needs to be done now is trying to reduce the ideological appeal of Islamism, and that's what we do as an organization.
How does one do that?
Well, it's difficult. It's a much longer process. Part of that has to do with the role of mentors. Having potential radicals speak to other radicals who have gone through the process and de-radicalized, as we have in our foundation. And these radicals could be based in jails, schools, universities, mosques, and having these ideas out, illustrating the theological inaccuracies of some of the content that Islamic State puts out, and really decreasing the appeal of their propaganda, because their propaganda is based on an idea of strength, and that is precisely what these attacks have been for. It's a war for them against the West, and they've tried to show their strength here.
What do you think that, on a more local level, I mean, what can countries do? Is it, because I'm reading through the lines of what you're saying, and I'm thinking, well, so it's about integration then? It's about making sure that you integrate people into societies? Is it about, you know, paying attention to youth? I mean, how do we prevent that an entire generation is lost?
So it's a combination of a few factors. What tends to happen after an attack like this is the increased polarization of communities. And that is what we have to avoid. Because if we do that, we are playing into what Islamic State wants, an us versus them narrative. So Muslims don't belong in European countries, where they belong is the Islamic State. So we have to be very careful that we don't generalize to an entire population. We don't generalize, and we focus on that as well.
We're hearing from President Obama here this afternoon that he's saying that the strategy on Syria is working, and that we shouldn't see more boots on the ground. I mean, one could fear that if we did see a ramping up, as has been indicated already by Hollande, a ramping up of airstrikes on Syria, that you'll just keep the bad circle running. I don't know how to stop it otherwise. I don't have any other good ideas, but I'm just, you know, how do you solve something like this without increasing the violence, without increasing the militancy, without increasing the hatred that already is brewing?
There are two geographical areas we need to look at. There is, of course, the situation that's happening in the Islamic State, and that requires a much longer-term political strategy. It also requires leaders coming together, as they are doing now, and thinking about the long term. That's one. The second geographical location is in Europe itself, and here we have generations of individuals who would find Islamic State appealing. They would find the idea of making hijra or migration as justified, and that's an ideological battle, and that's a much longer one.
To ask us a question or to find out more about the Quilliam Foundation and the work we are doing to counter extremism, please follow us on Facebook and Twitter or visit our website.